Peace. What's happening, good people? This gift here for Pay Us No Mind. And today, we have an update. We got an update, man, to Spotify and their official announcement on their monetization threshold. And boy, is this entertaining. You know, we're going to dive into what this stuff means, man, and just read in their own words what they plan to do. And also, we'll be touching on BMI selling to a private equity firm. And what could that mean for songwriters, right? Because they were like a nonprofit, you know, that ends up selling to a private equity firm. This is wild, right? A lot of changes happening, man. A lot of changes. So let's go to Spotify's announcement, right? Let's take a look at what they're talking about. So we got Spotify here, and they say modernizing our royalty system to drive an additional $1 billion toward emerging and professional artists. Now that word right there, right? Emerging is always an interesting term for me with these platforms because YouTube had featured LMA as an emerging artist when Booed Up was the #1 song in the country. So it's like for an artist with the #1 song in the country to be considered emerging, I mean, I don't know. I would say you've emerged at that point, right? But this is the trick knowledge, as the 5%ers would say. So they talk about we're introducing new policies to better support those most dependent on streaming revenues as part of their livelihood. Again, we go with the keywords, right? Most dependent. So we're going to skip through this. We're going to go to, so they're talking about artificial streaming, blah, 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 blah. We don't care about that. Why? Da, 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 da. Yada, yada, yada. The issue. This is what we care about. The issue, right? They got payments lost in the system. Today, Spotify hosts well over 100 million tracks. Tens of millions of them have been streamed between 1 and 1,000 times over the past year. And on average, those tracks generated 3 cents per month. Now, the key here is that they're talking about it from the standpoint of individual tracks and not artists, because each artist has multiple tracks. And that is an important thing to note. So because labels and distributors require a minimum amount to withdraw, usually between $2 to $50 per withdrawal, and banks charge a fee for the transaction, usually $1 to $20 per withdrawal, this money often doesn't reach the uploaders, and these small payments are often forgotten about. Now, we know that each of us do not only distribute a single song to Spotify. So for most artists out there, they have multiple albums. So 3 albums with 20 songs each would effectively qualify you for a payment with your digital distributor. And not only that, but it's pretty arrogant of them to say that if you don't earn $1 from Spotify alone, that you don't qualify for a payment from a digital distributor that puts your music in over 30 different stores. So they disregarding the money that you would get from iTunes, Apple Music, Tidal, Deezer, Pandora. If you don't make $1 from Spotify, then you don't make no money, which is like insane. They're just basically saying anything to effectively justify them doing what they want to do. So they're saying, okay. And then it's like they're saying that the digital distributors have a payment threshold of $2 to $50. I mean, DistroKid's threshold is $1, and TuneCore caps transaction fees at 25 cents, and they don't have a threshold. So this is not even accurate. Again, they're just saying anything. So they're saying these small payments are often forgotten about. Now, do you forget about your payments? Do you forget about the money that you have sitting in your account on TuneCore and DistroKid? Do you be like, you know what? That $5, let me just leave it there. You know, that $10, let me just leave it there. Like, dude, I know people who are millionaires that felt frisky at one point and released like a single or something. And, you know, it didn't rock the world, but they got some streams. And I'll tell you right now, every time their account has $10 or $20 in it, because I got access to it, I check that account and they withdrawn that $10 or $20. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what they talking about when they say forgotten about. And then they say, but in aggregate, these small disregarded payments have added up to $40 million per year, which could instead increase the payments to artists who are most dependent on streaming. So they are saying that, oh, this is such an insignificant amount of money that the people that we're stealing from won't miss it. And because they won't miss it, that makes it okay to steal. And then we're giving it to the people who are dependent on streaming for their livelihood. Now, if you are dependent on streaming for your livelihood, that puts you at about 1 million streams a month, because that's how much it would take to make like around $3,000 a month or somewhere like that. So they're saying we want to take from all of these artists that don't make barely anything and give it to the artists that get at least 1 million streams per month. And it also gives you insight into the fact that it's not just about artists that get like under 1,000 streams or whatever. This could go on to like under 1 million streams, because the goal is to make sure people over that threshold make the most money. So they say how we're addressing it: track monetization eligibility. Starting in early 2024, tracks must have reached at least 1,000 streams in the previous 12 months in order to generate recorded royalties. So they're saying each track, individual song, has to get at least 1,000 streams in the previous 12 months. So that seems like they're saying every 12 months, each song individually has to get 1,000 streams in order to qualify for a payment. Now they say Spotify will not make additional money under this model. Yeah, because it's not about y'all. Y'all just funnel the money to the major record companies. There is no change to the size of the music royalty pool being paid out to rights holders from Spotify. We will simply use the tens of millions of dollars annually to increase the payments to all eligible tracks, rather than spreading it out into 3-cent payments, which is absurd, because the same way that digital distributors have a threshold for when they release a payment, they could do the same thing. They could say, we're not going to send the payments until you've earned X amount, rather than saying we're going to take the money and give it to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? That's a completely different thing. Now they're saying, why are we doing this? It's more impactful for these tens of millions of dollars per year to increase payments to those most dependent on streaming revenue, rather than being spread out in tiny payments that typically don't even reach an artist, as they do not surpass distributors' minimum payout thresholds. 99.5% of all streams are of tracks that have at least 1,000 annual streams, and each of those tracks will earn more under this policy. Like, dude, if they already earn a significant portion of the revenue. Why do they need more? You know, we also believe the policy will eliminate. Now, this is another key thing here to pay attention to. One strategy used to attempt to game the system or hide artificial streaming, as uploaders will no longer be able to generate pennies from an extremely high volume of tracks. Now, that is a key passage there because they're effectively saying that if you upload one song or two songs, you don't qualify, you don't make enough money to qualify for a payment. And because you don't make enough money to qualify for a payment, that justifies them taking the money from you. But if you upload enough songs to qualify for a payment, they're effectively saying that you're gaming the system. So it's like, that's like if somebody gets paid so little that they don't make enough to pay their bills and they decide to work overtime and put in extra hours, that's like their employer saying they're trying to game the company that they work for because they're working more hours. Like, dude, it's absurd. You don't make enough. So putting out more songs so you make enough is effectively stealing or abusing the system. Bottom line is they don't want to give you the money and they're just throwing out any old thing to try to justify not giving you the money. But let's look at their FAQ and see how they explain this system. So we can look at it, we can say, okay, how much more money will be paid out to emerging and professional artists as a result of the change, right? Because that's what everybody cares about. Everybody cares about how the artists that they classify as being worth paying, whether they make more money. Like, come on, man, get out of here. We don't care about that. We don't, So it's like what they're saying, tens of millions of dollars per year will be given to the people who need it the least. Where is the money coming from? These are significant operational, it says there are significant operational expenses and liabilities taken on by distributors to collect and pay out royalties to artists who use their service, right? Because we're trying to make things easier for the digital distributors, not the fact that we're blowing up their whole damn business. No. This is about helping them manage things better. Understandably, music distributors typically charge artists a banking fee to withdraw earnings. Okay, this is the same thing they were saying before. On average, tracks under blah, 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 right? Does Spotify make money from this change? No, we don't, I'm pretty sure. Does this change impact publishing royalties? Okay, no. There will be no changes to how publishing royalties are calculated for now. This eligibility calculation only applies to recording royalties. And you know why? They don't want the smoke with publishers or a publishing company like ASCAP, BMI, CSAC. Those are bodies, like trade bodies that have lawyers to fight them. And indie recording artists don't. They don't have no money to fight them. All they can do is punch the clouds. So this is why they're paying publishing royalties, but not sound recording royalties, because they can get away with not paying sound recording royalties. When will this policy go into effect? Any change to the royalty system on Spotify requires broad buy-in from our licensing partners. We're currently working with all recorded licensing partners to finalize the plan and aim to implement it in early 2024. Now, this is where it's like you would say, well, digital distributors should have an interest in defending artists, being that this completely undermines their business. But at the same time, to some effect, their hands are tied because a lot of them don't have an interest in your success. They're just taking your money, putting your music in stores and taking your money. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they need you to want your music and Spotify and Apple Music and stuff like that, so you continue to give them money. If you don't want your music in there, then you don't want to pay them for digital distribution. So for them to make an argument about this and take a stand on this, it's like, what could they do? if they boycott Spotify and everybody wants their music in Spotify, and that's the reason why they're paying for digital distribution, then that undermines their business. So what they probably plan to do is just stay quiet and hope that most artists don't notice. Now, this is where the real nook and cranny, right? How will royalties be calculated under this new policy? So they say recording royalties are typically calculated at the end of each month based on stream share. For example, if a track received 1% of all streams on Spotify, it would receive 1% of that month's royalty pool. Currently, all music streams on Spotify are included in this stream share calculation. Under this new policy, each month, Spotify will calculate stream share just for eligible tracks, those that have received at least 1,000 streams globally in the previous 12 months. In practice, that means a track generates royalties for all streams in the first month it reaches eligibility, but not for streams from any month prior. So they break it down, right? If a track is streamed over 1,000 times in its first calendar month on platform, all streams will be included in the stream share calculation that month. If, for example, a track is streamed 750 times in its first calendar month on the platform, and then 500 times in its second month, that track would generate royalties for all 500 streams in that second month, as well as for streams in subsequent months, as long as it remains eligible. So basically, let's say you got 999 streams in 11 months. And then in that second month, or in that 12th month rather, you got 50 streams. In that 12th month, you would have crossed into 1,000 streams, right? Because you have 1,050 streams. They would pay you for the 50 streams, but not for the 1,000 streams that you got before that. So once you cross over the threshold, they pay you for the streams that you got in the month that you went over the threshold, and all of the streams after that, and all of the streams before that, you don't get paid for. So if your individual song doesn't reach 1,000 streams in the previous 12 months, and that continuously happens, you will never get paid for that song, no matter how many streams that it gets, because it never got 1,000 streams in 12 months. So that's effectively how it worked. If you got 999 streams in 11 months, and then you got one stream in the 12th month, you get paid for one stream. So they say, can tracks go in and out of eligibility? Yes, each month, all tracks that have been streamed at least 1,000 times globally in the previous 12 months will be included in stream share calculations for royalties. A track can go from eligible to ineligible to eligible again as popularity changes over time. Now, this is punitive to indie artists, first off, and really back catalogs. Because I know some artists that get like 100,000 streams, 1,000,000 streams a year that are going to take a hit with this, because their entire back catalogs, those songs get less than 84 streams a month, or, because they're out of the rotation now. People were excited about them when they first came out. They were streaming them. Now they don't stream them as much. They're streaming the new stuff. They're streaming other new songs. So they're basically not demonetizing, but disqualifying people's entire back catalogs, right? So it's like even the artists that they're trying to make it seem as if would benefit are not going to benefit. They're going to be taken advantage of too. Come on, man. And then they're saying, how will this policy disincentivize artificial streaming? This policy introduces another disincentive for certain kinds of artificial streaming, particularly high volume schemes where bad actors deliver hundreds or thousands of recordings, earning small amounts on each. So see, look, they're trying to criminalize artists who put out a lot of releases. So basically everybody that uses unlimited digital distribution, where you're paying like $20 for unlimited with DistroKid, and you put out like a number of releases every year, they're effectively saying that you're a scammer. You're a scammer. If you put out multiple releases a year because you're like, well, more releases, more streams equal more money, right? And that's the system that you decide to run playing by their rules, then they're saying you're a scammer. And they need to implement rules to restrict you from abusing the system. Never mind the fact that they passed their whole monetization structure abuses you. Because the reality of the situation is the way that they're paying artists, where they're saying you get paid a percentage of the total number of streams, no matter how often an individual user streams your music. So let me get out of here. Right? Hold on, y'all. That's not what I'm looking for. Hold on, yeah. Yeah, man. So they're saying that no, like they have that system. They pay you a percentage of revenue based on your percentage of the total number of streams. Now, if the major labels are responsible for 99.5% of the total number of streams, and you are only accountable for 0.5% of the total number of streams, that means that if I, GIF, am paying $10 to Spotify to stream your music exclusively, the most you'd get is about 5 cents from me. Somebody paying $10 to stream your music exclusively because you don't account for more than 0.5% of the total number of streams on Spotify. And that's just insane, bro. That's insane already. And that's with the system that we already have. So now they want to take that 5 cent. So because what they're doing is they're disregarding the value of the individual listener, because the major labels don't care about what individual people listen to. They care about money, you know? So if people will, like, if individual people only listen to their music once, but collectively there's like 1 billion people that stream it once, they think that they deserve the lion's share of the profit, and really they deserve all of it, right? And you deserve nothing, even though those people are streaming your music more on an individual level. So that would be like if somebody had a record store and they had albums in the store and they had like listening stations there, and you put out an album and a whole bunch of people came to the store to check out your album, but they listened to it and they was like, this is trash, and they decided not to buy it. So then they bought other people's albums, and you come to the store and you say, well, these people came to the store listening to my album, so you should take all of the money from all these other guys' albums that they actually bought and give it to me. That's not how it works. You get paid for the albums you sell. If people don't want to buy your album, come out with a better album. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you got what's called user-centric. User-centric pays based on consumption of individuals. So if I stream your music 90% of the time, you would get $9 out of the $10 that I paid to Spotify. That's a fair system, you know, because it's paying people for the actual value that they bring. Now, the major labels rejected that because under that system, the top 10 artists saw a 17% decline in their royalties. 17%. Because despite the fact that the music is popular, people don't have a profound connection with it, so they don't stream it heavily on an individual level. It just has a lot of popularity. So it's like how you can have more people would watch a dog wagging its tail to single ladies, you know, on Instagram or whatever. If you put up something like that, way more people will watch that. They will be like, oh my God, this is interesting. They get a laugh out of it, but they don't care about it like that. Now, a classical music piece, way fewer people would pay attention to that. But the people that do will feel way more passionate about it than the people that are watching the dog wagging its tail to single ladies. So under Spotify's system, a dog wagging its tail to single ladies carries extraordinary value, and a classical masterpiece is worthless. That is a sick, insane system, man. Word, yo. An insane system. Now, let me tap into BMI's news before I go to the chat room and see what y'all talking about in there, man. But matter of fact, matter of fact, there's another thing here, right? So we got them. Yeah, this lady right here. Because in one of the videos that I did about this, I talked about how this is like illegal, effectively. You know, this is antitrust, Sherman Act. You know what I'm saying? Like companies cannot, competitors cannot conspire with a platform to basically pass rules that negatively affect their competitors. That is conspiracy. You know, a major record company can't collaborate with a radio station to make sure that another record company doesn't get their music played this much. You can't do that. So this lady, Amelia Fletcher, I'm gonna read to y'all her letter that she wrote to Spotify. I don't know if y'all don't mind me reading. All right. Hold on, y'all. Yeah, so she said, "Dear Daniel Eck, I am writing to express my concern about Spotify's proposal to demonetize tracks that would otherwise account for the lowest 0.5% of royalty payments. I write in my dual capacity as a competition policy expert who has been heavily involved in the development of digital platform regulation in the UK and European Union, and also as a longtime creator and champion of independent and do-it-yourself music and co-founder of a small indie label." So she is a lawyer and an indie label owner, right? So they stirred the pot, right? Now, Spotify claims that it exists to connect creators with fans and empower creators to live off of their art. It also a champion, hold on. It is also a champion of fair competition, including through its Time to Play Fair campaign. Spotify's current proposal is at odds with these worthy corporate statements. Not only is it intrinsically unfair, but it is also anti-competitive and seriously risks constituting an abuse of dominance under UK and European Union competition law. First, Spotify seems highly likely to have a dominant position in the provision of streaming services to music creators. Most consumers of streaming services are single homing, i.e., use only one service, and Spotify has a strong position in that market with over 50% share in many European countries. Spotify is thus a critical bottleneck or gatekeeper for music as creators seeking to reach streaming consumers. This is important, right? For music creators seeking to reach streaming consumers. This is important because music streaming now accounts for over 75% of all revenues from recorded music. And this is why we can't let it run off our back like water. It's because people are not buying music because of the existence of streaming. It's cannibalized sales. So you can't just be like, well, you know what? I'm gonna just do this instead. Because of the dominance that they have and the fact that people don't want to do alternative stuff because these things exist. But still, you got some power though, right? And we'll talk about that later. Now, second, while the proposed demonstration or demonetization might seem like a small change to Spotify's policies, I would argue that it is akin to Amazon simply deciding not to pay the many small traders that accounts for the last 0.5% of its revenue. It is not only discriminatory and exploitative of music creators, but also creates an unlevel playing field in the market for music creation. In music streaming, as in many markets, there is a huge skew in the stream of tracks with a relatively small number of tracks by biggest artists accounting for a very large share of all streams. Now, y'all could read the rest of this statement on her Twitter page, man. But she makes a lot of great points, man. A lot of great points. You know, including the fact that what Spotify is doing is just BS. Now, moving on to this BMI news. Now, I did a video a while ago where I talked about how BMI was allegedly gonna be selling because they had made the move of moving from being a non-for-profit company to a for-profit company. And everybody was saying that they did that because they were planning to sell. And they were like, no, no, no. You know, they throw out that same line that all of these companies always throw out. We're doing this to better serve you. That's what this is for, you know. And then lo and behold, they sold, right, to a private equity firm. So this was the story, right? Oh, hold on. Where did I go? Oh, I guess, yeah. Yeah, man. So they sold to a private equity firm. There we go. And we could read this story. BMI sold to New Mountain Capital. BMI's transition to a for-profit model took the next logical step forward Tuesday as a New Mountain Capital-led shareholder group announced the majority growth investment in the organization. Along with ASCAP, which remains non-for-profit, BMI, or not-for-profit, BMI is one of the two largest performing rights organizations in the U.S. The deal is expected to close by the end of the first quarter of 2024. Mike O'Neill, BMI's president and CEO, will continue to lead the company along with his leadership team. Following the closing, according to the announcement, New Mountain will acquire the company from the shareholders who currently own it. That's a typo. Those shareholders must approve the sale. Terms of the deal were not disclosed, but New Mountain announced that BMI's current shareholders will allocate $100 million of the sales proceeds to songwriters and publisher affiliates in recognition of their creativity. The payout will follow BMI's distribution model. The allocation of those funds, while not a distribution of royalties, will be in keeping with the company's distribution methodologies, which are based on performance levels over a set period of time. BMI will work to finalize an equitable payout plan for this allocation in the coming months, the announcement reads. Now, yeah, they're cutting the songwriters that they represent a check. How much is this? How much are they selling this company for? Did they say? They say BMI transition, logical. What's the dollar amount? Terms, new, they giving 100 million, but what do they sell the company for? BMI transition, for profit. Yo, it's interesting. No, I don't think they mentioned how much they sold the company for. Deliver growth. Okay, let me see if I can find this, y'all. I'm going to Google this. All right. How much did BMI get sold for? Let's see. If somebody else could find it before me, that'd be cool. How y'all feeling out there? Good? $1.3 billion. Oh my God, dude. That's wild. Yeah, man, but this is what's going down, bro. It's just rampant abuse. And I know ASCAP has said something about it where they like, we're not stealing your money. We're not stealing money, right? We're not going to be a for-profit company like BMI, come with us. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, a private equity firm taking over a nonprofit that's job is to represent and police the catalog of artists or songwriters, yo, dude, everything changes. So right now, BMI, they already made some changes, because they were a platform that allowed songwriters to register for free and collect 100% of what they were owed. So you didn't have to register as a songwriter and a publisher in order to collect 100% of what you were owed. You could register as a songwriter and they would give you the publisher share that you were owed as a songwriter because you're a self-publishing artist. You're not a publishing company. So they charged people who were operating as publishing companies. So if you were a publishing company, you had to pay to register with BMI. But if you were an artist, if you was a songwriter, they would pay you the publisher share and the songwriter share, and you could register for free. But when it became a for-profit company, they started charging you for both. So you had to pay to register as a songwriter, and you had to pay to register as a publisher. So that right there shows you the difference between when the company and their focus is profit versus when their focus is to serve you. So now with a private equity firm taking over, it becomes all about saving money and making money, So they might, for all we know, start implementing thresholds too, right? On like a certain amount of money that you got to generate to be able to join BMI, or start charging people like membership dues, where it's like every year you got to pay a certain amount to maintain your membership in BMI. Like those are things that we could see coming to BMI down the line. Word, yo. Now, let me dive into the chat room. Matter of fact, I'm going to go back to what you call it. Yeah, because with this Spotify news, man, it is the reason why I chose to start working on my own platform, So it's like artists right now, it's like you got Spotify, and it's like, what else is there beyond Spotify? So I'm like, all right, well, if I make a platform and we put music up there and we monetize it and I split the revenue with artists, then there's an alternative, And hey, I know how to code. I know how to build. So I was like, yo, why not? Why not? At the end of the day. And I'm in the baby stages of it. I'm building it. Some of y'all see me post in the community tab asking for feedback. Like I recently asked if we should put numbers. And I'm anti-numbers because I want it to be about the music and not so much about how many views something got, But I'll consider it if it's something that people want. But yeah, it's building it out. Because the whole thing is, man, everybody is kind of hustling the artist, man. So it's like they use you as a brand ambassador, effectively, an unpaid brand ambassador. You go and upload a video to YouTube. You tell everybody to come to YouTube to check your video out. Even though they don't run ads on that particular video, they are promoting all of their other videos in the sidebar. So they are advertising on your content. They're just not advertising from advertisers. They're running their own ads on your content. So I come to watch your video and then I see a video from DMX and a video from Beyonce and a video from Taylor Swift. So all of those videos are being advertised on your video. And then I get pulled away from you to go watch their stuff. And when I go watch their stuff, I get exposed to ads. And YouTube earns revenue from me, who you brought to the platform. You know what I'm saying? And then they tell you that you can't get paid until you get 1,000 subscribers and 3,000 hours watched or 4,000 hours watched or whatever have you, and Facebook saying 60,000 views in 60 months and all of this other stuff, right? Like trying to say that the traffic that you generate and the attention that you generate is worthless, and that's just not true. So it's like I create a platform and yeah, we're going to monetize it with ads. Right. We're going to monetize it with ads. And what we're going to do is actually let people make money from the traffic that they bring and not say, you know what? Here's this threshold that you got to reach. If you bring traffic, it's value, and we pay you for the value you bring. Bottom line, it's a simple proposition. You know what I'm saying? They just are being manipulative and abusive, right? Treating it like it's some damn dangling carrot. But yeah, this is the platform so far. So it's like, this would be like the main music page. So I might add like a header here where I put like latest or popular, and down here it might be trending or something to that effect, you know. And then it's like the individual artist pages or the track pages. So you go to the track pages, and the track pages would look something like this, you know. Now I can make it so that the artist has like basically audio uploads as opposed to leveraging YouTube. And I don't know if I should or shouldn't, because YouTube gives artists like a double up, right? So it's like you get your traffic here, you get the ad revenue here, but then at the same time you get the watch time for YouTube and stuff like that. And also, if the person is signed into YouTube, you get into their algorithm and things of that nature, right? What it does is it allows for the artist to center the attention on themselves as opposed to all of the distractions that would happen if the person was watching on YouTube. But at the same time, if that person clicks this link and goes to YouTube, which they might, if they want to know numbers and stuff like that, you know, then it's like, you know, you're going to lose them once they're on YouTube. So that would be the reason to not have YouTube. But yeah, what these individual track pages, what the plan is to try to create a more deep relationship between the listener and the artist by just providing more information, you know? So it's like you will have this about section, I'm thinking of changing and having it be like the artist's name here. So you have these reinforcements, right? You have the artist's name is in the song title. So the song title would be here too, right? It would be Cavalier, it depends. And then you would have the name Cavalier under here. And then you would have the bio, you know, basically talking about the artist. And then you would have the song lyrics, you know, the song lyrics would be in the drop down and they could read the lyrics. And then under here, as opposed to it just being comments, right? Like I'm thinking like I would add credits and make it kind of like CD liner notes, where it's like you have the credits, and the credits will be more expansive than what they are now. Because right now, a lot of times the credits only include like the songwriter, the producer, you know, and that's pretty much it. But I would allow the artist to put the songwriter, the producer, the engineer, the photographer that's taking their photos, the graphic designer that designed the artwork, right? All of these different people that play a role, man. The makeup artist, the costume designers, if there was one, the makeup artist, if there was one, you know, like the stylist, if there was one, you know, all of these different things, because these people collectively are what make the artist and successful. That's what contributes to their success. And it's just good for other artists to see how many people are involved in the process, and also show their appreciation for individual people's work, and maybe want to look these people up and collaborate because they like that photographer's work, or they like that videographer's work, or whatever have you, man. So it's just making it more about the individual track and driving people deeper into it. And then it's like, you know, the pages could be monetized with ads, but we can give the artist the option to remove the ads if they want to just sell their music. So they could put a link to like buy and allow people to kind of like dive deep into the song, and then try to convert that person to a sale if they want, as opposed to monetizing with ads. The thing about it is that advertising allows you to monetize free users, and most people don't want to buy anything. So it's like with trying to sell something, it's like all or nothing, right? And that's the part of the whole thing with the artists and the relationships that a lot of these platforms have with artists that I feel like is extremely unfair, because it's like they're all making millions of dollars by leveraging free. Everybody is using their platform for free and they're making a whole bunch of money off of free. But then they're telling you that you shouldn't make money off of free. What you should do is try to upsell these people and get them to pay for something from you. So that's like how, back in the days when Wendy's had the dollar menu, it's like everybody was lined up for that dollar menu because you had the basic meal, right? Like you got the regular burger and then you got the deluxe burger. So you got people who want the regular, they can afford the regular, they buy the regular. But then you got people who want the deluxe and you get both. You get the people who want the regular and you get the people who want deluxe. They're saying that you can only have the people who want deluxe. If everybody wants regular and nobody wants deluxe, well, then that just sucks for you. And I think that's dumb. I think you should be able to monetize both in the same way that they monetize both. Because even though there's ads, what you are selling is access to the music. So if somebody wants ownership of the music, pay me for ownership of the music, right? Yeah, but that's my thoughts on it. And, right now I'm working on creating like an application for the platform, because the way that I want it to be is I don't want it to be like every other platform. I'll tell you right now, it's not going to be an open platform. I'm not taking everybody. You know what I'm saying? I am looking for quality. Me personally, I'm a music fan. I love music. I love great music. And, I am not endorsing any artists that are disrespectful to the culture. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when I put up a application and stuff and I'm like, yo, because right now there's no application. Artists can email me if they want to be included. You know what I'm saying? And I will check out your music and onboard you. Like I had one guy send me some stuff doing Afro beats. That was hot. And then I had another guy send me some stuff that upset me. You know what I'm saying? Like it was so bad, it upset me because I was like, yo, what? This dude ain't even trying. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and also, if you want to get a response where I effectively tell you why I didn't include your music, just make sure before you even send me anything that you got your big boy pants on. And if you want a response, be prepared for an honest response. You know what I'm saying? Because if it ain't good, I'm going to tell you, hey, man, this is not good enough. That doesn't mean that it actually is. It just means that it's your old boy Gift's opinion, my personal opinion. But I'm going to tell you my personal opinion if you send it to me and you want me to tell you how I feel about it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's what we doing. Now let me dive into the chat room and see what y'all talking about in there, man. A scrub is a guy that thinks he's fly, also known as a buster. Oh, this song stuck in my head, man. Yeah. So we gonna shout some people out, man. If you in the building, tap in so I can shout you out. Right? Zope Belafonte, what up, my guy? Good to see you in the building, my brother. We got 05 Dynasty, or is that 00 Dynasty? What up, my guy? Jerry NRG, what's good, my dude? We got Nefertiti. We got Golden Nick. We got SVG God. Word up, yo. Good to see y'all in the building, man. Anybody else that's in, tap in so I can shout you out and all of that good stuff, man. I see some people on my phone and not on the computer, right? This is a D Maccabees. All right, D Maccabees. We got, is that Ilataza Ben? Ilataza Ben, I think, right? Young Folk 74G. And Bella Beth. Yo, Bella Beth, man. Yo, I checked out your music. You commented on one of the videos and I went And I was like, yo, let me check out her music. She look interesting. So I listened to it. Yo, man, yo, it's hot. And I know I say man, it's just a matter of speaking. You know, I know you're not a man, you're a woman. But yo, your music is amazing, and I would love to have it be a part of the platform too. And I would love your involvement because I feel like you're somebody that care about music and care about, you know, the direction of music and artists and creativity and stuff like that. So yeah, I would love for you to be a part of stuff that I do, you know. So yeah, if you wanna join, definitely the door is open. Video 4.0, what up, man? Fireboy DML. And yo, that's my word. I yo, I love music. So I'm always checking stuff. Like a lot of times people comment on the videos and stuff like that. And I click and I go and I check out their music and I listen, you know, and I was just always looking to say, okay, well, when can I do something to help them? Because at the end of the day, you know, what everybody want to do is make a playlist. And I'm like, well, what does a playlist really do? Because for me, it's like playlists kind of like relegate artists to the background. You know what I'm saying? Like back in the days, you had radio, and radio had disc jockeys, you know, and the disc jockeys used to introduce the song. So they'd be like introducing Lost with Dreams by Gift. And that song got introduced coming in, or if it was the last song that was played, they would be like, oh, and that last song was so and so by Gift. So you would hear the artist name and the song title, and then sometimes they would bring them on to do interviews and stuff like that. And then you had music videos where we saw the artist name, song title, artist face. You know, and the reality of the situation is your brand is your name and your face. When somebody book you for a concert or something like that, your name and your face is going to go on a flyer. Your name is going to go on the marquee. If people don't know your name and your face, you arguably don't have a career because people can't get people out the shows because nobody knows who you are. You know, all of these different types of things. So somebody put your song on a playlist. People put on a playlist and then they go do something. They go work out, they go read, they go do something else. So they don't see your name, you know? And I thought about this, and this is something that I talked about in the previous episode where it's like, yo, I know the names and the faces of artists whose music I don't listen to. And then there's music that I have on playlists that I've been listening to for years, and I don't know those artists' names. I don't know what they look like. I don't even know the names of the songs that I'm streaming. You know what I'm saying? So if I came across those artists, a flyer for those artists on the street or something like that, I would have no idea it's the same person that I've been listening to for the past few years. So I'm not a fan of playlists and things of that nature because it relegates the artist to the background and it doesn't really help you build anything. It helps the platform because it gives people a reason to continue to be there, but it doesn't help you. That's also why I wasn't thrilled about this new feature that TikTok added where people could save the music directly to Spotify. So you already got a platform where somebody, let's say they chopping up carrots and they got your music playing in the background, and then somebody hears it and they say, oh, that's a cool song. So then they click a button now and then it's added to a playlist or saved to their library where they see that. And the artist, now that person never sees your face, never hears your name, never hears the song title. They just hear the song. So it's like, dude, you don't have a brand, you know? So it's like, yeah, it's about forcing that, hey man, here's my face, here's my name, here's my face, here's my name, here's my song title, and making that connection with the artist. So that's like a very important thing to do. And that's what we're going to try to facilitate and build. Yeah. So Bella, definitely email me, please. It's payusnomine@gmail.com. You can hit me up. Payusnomine@gmail.com. Let me see what everybody talking about in here. All right. So it says, I've been having $70 sitting in Song Trust for over a year. So would you rather Song Trust keep it, or do you want your $70, Jerry and RG? Zope said, yep, seems like you have to be a internet crook to make streaming money. I mean, that's the way that they, yo, and the wild thing about that is their policy on streaming fraud, where they're saying that they're going to fine digital distributors if the artists that use their platform are caught engaging in streaming fraud. They state that flagrant streaming fraud. So not even like streaming fraud, but flagrant streaming fraud, meaning that you're just not advanced in the way you're frauding, you know? So it's like if you got an elaborate system, then it's like, well, you know what? Got to give them credit. Let them rock. But if you're like doing like what Justin Bieber did, where he's like, put my song in a playlist and play it in your sleep, then they're going to find the digital distributor. Yeah. Nefertiti. Didn't the Spotify CEO say that artists should put out more music? Right? It's like what are you talking about? Do you want us to put out more music, or are we scamming the system if we put out more music? I mean, at the same time, man, what they're trying to do is be manipulative. They want to funnel more money to the major labels because they are dependent on them for licensing. They have a lot of power. The platform is dependent on them. So that's what they want. The major labels want more money, so they want to give them more money, but they don't want people to be upset about it. So they're using all this manipulative language to try to justify it. Right? At the same time, this is Zope Belafonte said, at the same time, imagine the amount of time and money put into creating art and people want it for free. I mean, yeah, people do, it's a saying, where it's like they say, if you do something that people are willing to pay you to do, you have a career. If nobody's willing to pay you to do it, you have a hobby. And Spotify and a lot of these social media platforms have allows people to monetize hobbies. There's things that people aren't willing to pay for, but people will consume it. And they can make money off of it because of the consumption, But the reality of the situation is if you could sell something, then you make out way better just selling it. But if people can have it for free, they're going to take it for free. So it's like, that's the thing where artists get caught in this conundrum, because it's like, to one effect, you want to put something out because you want to expose it and get people to pay attention to it. But then at the same time, because people have access to it, they don't want to pay for it and you can't sell it, So it's a balance that artists got to figure out, where you put out something, but you restrict access to it to force people to pay for it if they want it. So it's like, this is why with the platform I'm building, I'm not planning to implement like the tools and the features where users can add a song to a playlist. Because the whole point is to have them discover a song. And if they want that kind of access to it, buy it. Buy it. All right. And Jerry NRG says, what? And ASCAP just announced free writers' rights if you buy your publisher rights. All right. Golden Mike said, right, TuneCore DistroKid model is all about the volume of consumers as opposed to artists succeeding on using their services. I mean, yeah, they make money no matter if you make money or not. They don't take a percentage of what you make. Even Bandcamp seems to be a scam. Once someone has your digital file, the music is free. Yeah. But I mean, streaming. So that's the thing with Bandcamp, because Apple, if somebody buys a song on iTunes and they store it, like Apple has like a locker storage for them to be able to like carry the music around with them. And if they basically put it in that storage and download it to stream while they're out and about, you get paid for that. You'll see it in your royalty report. I know CD Baby shows it in your royalty report, but I don't know if everybody else does. But they definitely pay you when somebody who bought your music streams it from a storage locker with iTunes, and the same thing with Amazon. So with Bandcamp, allowing people to stream the music for free is like wild. Like it should be some type of payment for that, especially publishing. So it's but Bandcamp always been BS. Taking a percentage, not really having like any access to like the checkout flow where you can analyze it and actually see whether you're losing sales. So it's like artists are used to not getting any sales. So if they get something, they think, hey man, that's all that there was. But with Bandcamp, it could realistically be you got 100 people there and only 10 people bought because they didn't like the checkout. And you would be none the wiser because they don't give you access to see it. Jerry and RG 2 racks. I would have been took that out. Invest in share certificate. All right. Okay, let's see. All right, Golden Mike said the CEO love artists that release the high volume. This is a surprising turn of events. I mean, it's not surprising. It's a scam. Right? They said because I named the song. I don't know if you're talking to me. SVG God says, I guess it's time to go direct to consumer. I mean, that's a lot of people saying going direct to consumer, but direct to consumer ain't easy. Like I said again, people make money, you know, yeah, it's like, at the end of the day, it's, it's selling music direct to fan is not easy. And I put up a video about it where I just talked about the process where you got to pay for a domain name. You got to pay for a domain name. You got to pay for e-commerce solution like Shopify or something like that. You got to design a website. You got to do all of this stuff. And then you got to have a relationship with the consumer to where they feel comfortable paying. Because at the end of the day, you got stuff involved in that where it's like identity theft and all of this other stuff, whether you're actually going to get what you paid for. So it's just much more of a process. Now, it can be more rewarding if you understand what you're getting into and you actually, prepare yourself for that. But if you're not prepared for that and you're not ready and you don't have the money to spend on it, it can be really difficult. Yeah, man. So, GIF, can we go into the Discord and create a streaming group collective, then bounce off Spotify's BS? I mean, this was, I guess, before you saw me talk about what I was talking about. Videos went probably 1 billion. Even though it's for profit, it may not be a public company. I mean, BMI, you mean? Bella Beth says, in recognition of their creativity. Laugh my ass. Yo, it's such a racket. Yeah. D-Maka Beats said they always do everything to screw the actual artist. Greedy bastards. Yeah, man. I'm going through the comments. I'm going through them. I'm going through them. Fireboy DML, what up, fam? Oh, man. Bella Beth, I really appreciate the words. Yeah, man. Zope Belafonte says, seems that most smaller labels are getting together to combine catalogs to get bigger piece of the pie through a bigger distribution company to only do the same thing to artists. I mean, right now, quantity is not the name of the game because all of like really, dude, this is gonna kill a lot of these indie labels. or quote unquote labels, because you've had a lot of companies pop up talking about calling themselves the labels, but they basically just collect a whole bunch of artists that all generate small streaming numbers, but collectively, when you have one body that's getting a percentage of all of those artists' revenue, they make a lot of money. So individually, the artist might not make nothing, but the label itself makes a whole lot of money. And this would straight up kill them because those individual artists wouldn't make nothing. But additionally, digital distributors that take a percentage of your revenue, they're dead. You know, like all of that's gonna stop. So it's like the percentage based part of Amuse that probably is gonna come to an end. United Masters, their 10% thing, they already gutted it, but that's probably just gonna come to an end. 1RPM, they probably change up their pricing. A lot of these companies that say, hey, we take 15% and we take 10% and we distribute your music for free without any upfront fee, that's probably going to be over. This would probably be the effectively the death of free digital distribution in any capacity. Yeah, man. Zope Belafonte says your audio quality is crispy, famo. Right. That's new. You know what I'm saying? I know I'll be wilding sometimes, trying to get everything right. But yeah, I mean, I put some effort into it, man. You know? Yeah, man. Yeah. So let me get up out of here, man. I appreciate everybody for tapping in. It's been a great show. Love and respect to y'all, man. I hope y'all enjoy your night. I'm about to go chill with the fam. Again, anybody interested in joining the platform, giving feedback, being an early tester, all of that good stuff as I built this thing out, hit me up at Pay Us No Mind not at Pay Us No Mind. That's not a Gmail. PayUsNomind at gmail.com. Or you can hit me up at PayUsNomind on Instagram or at PayUsNomind on Twitter. All right, y'all. This is Gift signing off. Pay us no mind. Peace, good people. One.